Well, hello there, YouTube. This is a sight you haven't seen in a while. The old 83 XVZ12 TK, otherwise known as a 1200 Venture. I'm on my, got the Hero 4 with the Cena audio pack on the back in its waterproof case. I wanted to ride today. I just wanted to drive to work on a Friday. Oh, today's Friday, April 3rd, by the way. It's a good friend of mine's birthday, friend from Texas. I need to call, email, or something, wish him a happy birthday. But, yeah, it's a good chance of rain today. So I'm wearing my TPG Rainier, the infamous waterproof jacket, and I got some pants, and oh snap, I did forget something. I forgot my my waterproof boot things here. Oh shit. And this thing really gets your feet wet. I'll have to ride with my feet on the rear pegs if I get caught in rain. God dang. How the hell did I forget that? What a meathead. But anyway, so far so good. Feels good to drive the old Venture. Last time I rode this thing was December, or not December, but November 1st of last year. So it's been 5 months and 2 days since I've rode this old gal. Yeah, them skies that way are not looking towards the coast, is not looking very friendly. But I don't care. This Venture is your typical Japanese bike. You can ride them in the rain and wash them off, no problem. That's with the exception of like air-cooled, the older Japanese stuff that was air-cooled. Man, that rainwater and crap would get in the fins, and it was really hard to get them new looking again. These things are just, you know, it's kind of like washing your car. There's so much body work on it that, not that I can deal with it, because I have to get in there and clean that too, but you can actually give these things a good fluff down, and all the dirty stuff's underneath all the Tupperware, you know. But yeah, good to ride the old Venture. Ah, she is a comfortable son of a gun. I always forget how fast this thing is too. This one's kind of like a spider. You have no sense of speed, so you do have to pay attention. But anyway, just to let you know beforehand, I just came on to say good morning and welcome to the old Venture again. I had no subject or topic or whatever to talk about. It was just nice at the moment, and I thought I'd jump on and say, hey. Say, hey. It's not too, I think it's in the, let's say it's like 54 or something like that degrees. So these gloves aren't exactly the warmest thing at 54 degrees, but as usual, I have tucked away in bags and whatnot some additional heatage should I need it. I still have, it's still sitting in one of the saddlebags, these damn gauntlet gloves that I purchased years ago. Good Lord, it had to be 02 maybe, somewhere near 01, 02. I was riding this thing, actually Kelly and I used to ride this thing back and forth to work, even in the teens and 20s from Silver Lake. And their elevation is a little higher than where I'm at now, and it was pretty common to have ice and snow spots on the road. You know, we'd ride when it was clear, but that didn't mean there wasn't still residue on the road. Yeah, it's funny, I don't know if I've just gotten to that age or what, but I just, if there was any ice or snow on the road, I just wouldn't ride. you know, something goofing around close by home, I wouldn't have too much of a problem. But geez, driving that thing to work, that'd be nuts. But man, I used to do it all the time. Originally, when I had this thing back in 83 and 84, Kelly and I used to drive up to the mountains in this thing. Not in the winter, but you know, in the early spring when all the crap is still around. In fact, I even have some pictures of Kelly and I up at Mount Rainier, but the roads weren't too bad that day. But I've driven it up to St. Helens. I used to go up to St. Helens all the time. Especially in, you know, once she started acting up, you know, about 11 or 12 years ago, I got into going up there and watching the media and taking pictures of the mountain. Man, I hate to think how many pictures I took of that mountain. But, so I'll tell you a quick little story here. We won't make this too long. It just came to mind thinking of those gauntlets. So, I don't know if I've mentioned this thing before, but I've got this like childhood fear of semi-trucks chasing you, especially if they're old and all rickety looking, you know. I don't know if it's from watching the movie Duel with Dennis Weaver that came out in, what was that, somewhere between 74 and 76. But it was although it plays on pay channels and stuff now, that was actually a made-for-TV movie. But anyway, we got a sport bike probably going to come ripping around me here. I'll let him go. See, it's a ZX of some sort. But anyway, I just got this crazy weird thing about what the hell is he doing here? He has a plan. Looks like a ZZR or an old ZX. It's kind of rounded looking. But I mean the corners and stuff, it's like soft and round. So anyway, there was this truck right. If you guys paid attention when I go up Spirit Lake Highway, I just did that. I don't know how much of that I filmed, or I know I filmed it, but how much of that I released. I took that was a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, I took the iron up and I rode down to that boat dock, and I'm not sure how much of that I showed. It was several hours of recording stuff, and I just pulled pieces out of it. But anyway, when you go up Spirit Lake Highway, there's this point where you just kind of pop out on the lake, and the lake is literally right up against the road on your right. And right before you pop out there, there's this creepy old mobile home. It's like a single wide. I think they've actually dug that out, and it's got a real nice double wide or whatever sitting in there now. But anyway, there was this old white Freightliner cab over, or COE, cab over engine, flat nose as I used to call them, that sat, you know, you had to kind of look through the woods to see the house, you know, and it was like dirty and there's junk around, you know, what I like to call the Jeepers Creepers house. But there was this old white, you know, it didn't have a sleeper on it, it was just, you know, cab only, white Freightliner that sat down there, and it was white, but it was all green with moss, and it looks like it hadn't been washed like the last 10 years it had been driven, because it just massive road grime all over it. Just a creepy looking truck. So the night I bought those gauntlet gloves. As soon as I tell you, I was working at the Longview Pro Caliber at the time. Actually it was Longview Motorsports. It was before we merged and became Pro Caliber. But geez, I'm driving along in fourth gear. 80 miles an hour in fourth gear all this time. But I take off with those gauntlet gloves, and immediately, I'm sure you guys that ride know what I'm talking about, there's like this layer between the fabric that's touching your grip and the fabric that your hand's on. So the gloves have this kind of a floaty feeling to them. And it almost makes your hands ache because you have to squeeze the bar or the grips a little harder to keep that sloppy feeling from going on. I don't know if it's the thinsulate or the insulation or whatever that's in there that does that. But it's real common with these big old gauntlets. And anyway, right away I feel this and I go, oh crap. What have I done here? I think there were snowmobile gloves or something. Crazy warm. I mean, I talk about gloves I can't wear. That's literally a pair of them. But the sloppiness of them is another reason I don't. Kelly will wear them when she's riding on the back because she just flops her hand down in there and, oh my God, we're going 85. I like getting caught with traffic like this. I'm just going with the flow. If you don't notice here, I'm not rushing anybody or anything. But so anyway, that night I'm driving home. I stop at this Shell station right off of exit 49 which is one of the Castle Rock exit. And you go up State Route 504, which is Spirit Lake Highway, and drive on up to Silver Lake where I live. Well, I stop for gas, and I look over, and off to the side there's some real tall, the canopy things they put on the over the pumps. That's 4 trucks. They're like crazy high. So, but anyway, there's a set of pumps just for semi trucks. I look over there, and to my utter amazement is that damn white Freightliner. I mean, I didn't even know this thing ran, because that thing always just sat in that same spot in that yard, And but I wasn't absolutely 100% sure that was a truck. But man, it looked like it was all green and mossy, and that gray, nasty road grime that you get from riding in the rain a lot. Well, you get that around here. I don't know if it's where you're at, but it's just this nasty gray look you get. If you notice, like around the base of the semi, you'll see what I'm talking about, that weird gray look. But anyway, that's not a cop behind me, is it? So you got ski racks on the roof. So I see that truck, and I get my gas, and I'm buttoning up, and I hear that thing cackle up, and it's smoking. I don't know if the injectors are dirty or what, but it's just chuffing over there. It's all cackly and rattly, and I'm like, oh God, that thing is so creepy looking, unbelievably creepy looking. So I take off, and he takes off. So I make it out to the exit out of the Shell station onto 504, and here comes this truck, rolling up behind me, and it's just like making the hair on the back of my neck stand up. This thing is just unbelievably creepy. It's like something from a horror story or a horror movie, horror story. But so anyway, I take off and I head up the hill, and it's this long, for I don't know, 2 or 3 miles. Is just a steady climb up. Actually, it's that set of mountain ranges there, but it's back away. Hell, I was driving right past the place. What a moron. I'm telling you the story, and literally, as I'm telling you the story, I drive past that exit. See, we're at exit 46 now. What a complete idiot. I must have been paying attention to what traffic was doing or something. But, or I'm in depth with my story. As you can tell, that's not true. I keep getting sidetracked. But that's not unusual either, is it? So this hill's pretty steep, and this old Venture, they don't even know that hill's there, So I'm bombing up that hill, and it's 2-lane going up, so you can pass. And I'm rattling up the hill. I think it's 55 or something going up there. So he's like closing in on me, so I'm like 60, then I'm 65, then I'm 70. And this damn truck is hanging with me. Now, this was during the winter, so it was already dark, getting off at 6 and rolling through there. And every time every time he'd pass under one of them street lights, you get this, eerie as hell. You just see the headlights, and it's an old truck, had the old round headlights, and they're kind of yellow. How the old seal beam headlights were. So it was just, the roof lights, the little orange lights across the roof, and these eerie yellow, like the alternator's not charging correctly or something, yellow looking lights. But every time he'd pass under a street light, it would light that old truck up, and you just see the smoke rolling out of them dual stacks on this thing. And this thing just like freaks me out. So I wick it up to about 80, 90 miles an hour until I get to the top of the hill, and there's a couple of S-turns through there, and I mellow out a little bit. I don't see him back there, So I'm cruising along, and I get down to where that first visitor center is, the first Mount St. Helens Visitor Center, and that's well lit through there. And I just don't even see this truck. Well, it's kind of twisty, so you could, he could be back there, but I turned back, So anyway, it's just kind of a long sweeping. It's the same area where the guy on the KTM was bombing and passing cars, and when he'd pass them, he'd go all the way to the shoulder on the wrong side of the road. It was that same area where that visitor center is. In fact, that is where the visitor center is. It's to the right. It's kind of buried in the woods. Anyway, as I come through that, it's well lit, and I look back into my utter horror. And mind you, I'm going about probably 65 or so. What's, kind of comfortable going through there. You're not going fast, but it's, it's comfortable. To my utter horror, here's this truck closing in on me like I'm standing still. And the light is so well lit because there's a great big state park that's on the left. So the lights are close by, and it's just like this strobing effect of this truck passing through them lights. And I don't know if you can tell in these mirrors, you can see out these mirrors. They're like great big pane windows, they're so big. You see everything very clear behind you. So I'm like, holy shit. So I really wick it up. Well, it's kind of winding through there, and this guy is keeping up with me at like 80 miles an hour. And all I can think of is how these gloves are all wishy-washy, and I can't go any faster. I don't feel safe going any faster. And it was like a kid that is thinking there's a freaking monster in the closet. I mean, I'm literally freaking out. I could have pulled over, the guy would have just drove by, but in my head, he's after me. So they hit this one straightaway, and I didn't even look how fast. This thing will go, about 145. I just pinned it, and just, I was gone. I was well over 100 miles an hour going through there. And so I left him a little bit. There's a couple of rolling hills, and I don't know how fast he got that thing up to, but he wasn't that far behind. And then finally, I come to Silver Lake, and I notice that sweeping turn, and I look back, and as I'm going around the turn, and I see him turning into that driveway. So that was, in fact, the truck that just sat there dormant in them people's yard for all that time. And never again, I lived there another 5 or 6 years. Where he parked it that night is where that thing was left. It never moved. And of course, I think the place got sold. It's probably part of the recession or something we had here. The land must have got sold, but there's a new house there. It's all cleaned up and nice looking. Of course, the truck's gone now. But that all happened while I was living where I'm at now in Toledo. I've been there 8 years, so somewhere I just drove through there one day and everything was all cleaned up, gutted out. The old truck was gone. But yeah, I have a childish fear for creepy semi-trucks. And if they're not without a trailer, like this one was, it was just a tractor, no trailer. That is crazy creepy. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but they used to, in fact, in some countries they still do, but they used to race these things on NASCAR tracks. And like in Australia, I think it's Australia, maybe it's New Zealand, somewhere down under, they race these things on road race courses. And I mean, these things are built to the hilt. But, back in the 70s, you basically, you signed up for it and you took your rig in stock form and raced those things around. A semi-truck can go really fast. I don't think it's the top speed that's scary. It's how quick they get there. I mean, I think they're just like grabbing, 3 or 4 gears at a time, and with no load, they got so much torque that, you know, they make a 3 or 4 gear jump up in a shift and just, bah, it's like a bolt of lightning, they go. So if you ever get some guy in a semi-truck without a trailer road raging, get the hell out of his way. Because unless you go, you know, well over 100 miles an hour, you know, I don't know what they go. I think they go, what does a semi-truck go back in those days? 110, something like that. But anyway, pretty scary shit. So how do you like that? I gave you a little sneak peek in an old man's childish fears. And still to this day, it can be foggy or whatever, and a semi-truck come flying up behind us while I'm driving along in the cage, and I freak out. And Kelly just laughs at me. She goes, "You are so funny." I go, "Look at that thing. Look how scary that thing looks." And she goes, "It just looks like a truck." I said, "Oh no, there you are. There's one right there without without a trailer. He's not creepy, but if he come running up on me, he'd become the monster." So anyway, oh my Lord, we've been going. Oh yeah, we've been going over. Oh, looking at it, driving off the road. Been going over 20 minutes. So sorry about that. I'll stop it now. Hell, I took you all the way from Toledo to the exit to head into Longview, the one that we go to Pro Caliber on, the one I drop Kelly off every day. But how you like that? It took me 20 minutes. It's amazing what 80, 85 miles an hour will do, right? Makes a big difference in a given amount of time, you know. But anyway, I will chit chat with you later, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. It's Friday here, so obviously I won't have this up today, so whatever time this comes up, or whatever time you're watching this, I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend if that's the case, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks now. Bye-bye.